The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in a Rev. And boy, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Oh, yeah.
Where do we begin?
We've got handing out of checks. We've got taking it up the butt from the tax mongers.
And from our own personal,
from our own personal delegates.
Personal elitist.
Yes. Elitist. So it gets to be very interesting. So what do you want to take on first? The I'm doing something or the let's screw the taxpayer?
No, let's just do screw the taxpayer. We know that our senator, who used to be a rep, and he now
chairs the Ways and Means Committee.
He is the prototype of a politician, and he's a Dino, Democrat in name only, and just like the rhinos. And these people have total disregard for us, and we'll get to that scenario later. But they have a total disregard. So, CJ, why don't you encapsulate what our illustrious state senator has done to the people of this area? Of course, let me preface this remark by reminding you that he does not live in Fall River, where the household income is 43. He lives in a place where the average household income is around 80,000.
Right.
And he is a well-to-do businessman and state senator. Yet he doesn't. Well, you say it, because then I'm gonna remind everybody before you tell everybody how he screwed us by saving a few pennies on taxes. I will remind everybody that the individual we're talking about drove across the state line to spare himself from a Massachusetts alcohol tax.
That's right.
So go take it away, CJ.
Well, yesterday in the Massachusetts Senate, our illustrious state senator, Michael Rodrigues, I don't mind naming names, Mr. I'm going to go to New Hampshire for alcohol, decided to lead the Democrats in a rally against giving you some tax relief. And as a matter of fact, he went so far as to say that he doesn't believe that the taxpayer will get any relief from this. And this is a tax on the gas tax. A motion came before the Senate, and it actually went to a vote, because unlike in the House didn't even want to hear it. The Senate took it to a vote. It was 11-29, I believe. And Mike Rodrigues led it. He said, nope, it's not going to benefit. He says, I believe that the only people that are going to benefit from this are the oil companies. How are the oil companies going to benefit from it?
Well, look, that's typical political rhetoric. It's like saying that, well, we're going to get into that with our illustrious mayor, too. How they think that spending money is beneficial for the taxpayer and saving money isn't. So this is the way they have a convoluted perspective on things, because they're the elitists and they're rich. Nobody cares. Well, of course, look at people of Massachusetts. You're not going to benefit by paying less for gas. So now, since you're paying half your paycheck to go to work every week, why would you? How in God's name are you going to benefit by a reduction in gas prices? And the oil companies are going to benefit? No. What Senator Roderick was protecting was the money they generate from the gas tax. That's what he was keeping their piggy bank full while they're emptying yours. And that's the problem.
And he turned around and he justified this by saying that the gas tax money stabilizes the bond rating for the Commonwealth. If the bond rating for the Commonwealth is dependent upon the gas tax, we have serious problems.
Yeah. Look, they have got the biggest line of BS. They're professional BS. They divert, they twist, They shape narratives. Everything is always twisted around. Listen, as you said, if the state of Massachusetts and their bond rating is dependent on gas tax revenue, we're in deep doo-doo, okay? That's why they continue to raise your tax. Listen, was it a year or so ago we had $1 billion, over $1 billion? Yeah. Our bond rating is going to be jeopardized by a gas tax forgiveness for a while till Labor Day. No, of course it is. Even though we had $1 billion left over, no matter how much money they have left over, they're still picking your pocket. They're still taxing you every day. That's why you got a clean house. That guy's been there since Jesus was a corporal. He wasn't even in charge when this guy got in. Mm-hmm. And this is the problem. They stay in forever, and they just continue up the ladder of power. And now he's, without a doubt, the most powerful state-level politician that's ever come from this area. Nobody has ever ascended to the power he has.
Right.
You know, he's on the Ways and Means, which is the most powerful committee in the Senate and in the House, because that's where you get your money. You find the ways and the means to pay your bills. And he's directly in line to be the next Senate president. Closest we ever came was when Bob Carrere became the Speaker of the House's whip, Kavarian. That's the closest we've ever come from our politicians in this area are relegated to a subordinate role all the time, just like this area is. But I mean, you know, the way they try to propagandize and shape the narrative, you just can't, you know, that dog doesn't hunt, that pig doesn't fly, Senator Roderick. The people won't benefit from paying less for gas. Just think about that. Let that kind of get into your brain and stew a little while. And then when you see them, congratulate them on giving you a screw job and keeping their coffers filled. And again, the class war. He doesn't care. He gets paid to drive to Boston. And believe me, if what he's getting paid to drive to Boston doesn't pay his gas bill, they'll raise the stipend, because that's what they get to do. They're not like you. You and I are screwed. I go to the gas station, I got to pay over $4 a gallon in most places. And I've got to gas up, and if I decide I have to actually go places, well, I got to spend $100 a week on gas, and that's ridiculous. But you know, I got to put this in perspective. It segues away. I wanted to bring this in to show you. You remember a while back I read from the 1800s about the rich guy saying, "We don't care. We run the country. We're rich, and we don't give a crap about anybody else." And they were blatant then because they had no power. Today they try to try to cover it up, like, we care about you peons. No, they don't. They don't care. Mike Roderick doesn't care. But Mike Bloomberg, a couple of days ago, slipped. He showed everybody how disingenuous and how they feel about real people. Of course, that multi-billionaire is totally detached from reality. He actually thinks that a livable wage is $300,000 a year. And I'm paraphrasing what he said, but this is what he said. You know, people are worried about inflation. He said, listen, if you make less than $300,000 a year, which I guess to a billionaire is a pauper's salary, this was his advice to you, the common people. Get rid of your bus, get rid of your car, take a bus. Don't eat meat, eat lentils. And if your dog's dying, don't get chemotherapy for your dying dog. See you later, serf, peon. You're subhuman. You're not one of us. Let your dog die. Go eat beans. And take a bus. even if you don't have a transit system in your area. So
Or you don't have the money for it.
That's what a billionaire who can go to any place in the world on his yacht or multiple yachts, that's what they think about you. And we have it to a smaller scale right here on a local level. They're not billionaires, but they're a lot wealthier than people who are scratching to make a living, which is the majority of people in Fall River. And then we'll get to the local level, but this is the problem. When you have somebody with the audacity to basically tell you, listen, you're like subhuman. Go take a bus, peon, serf. You're lucky we even let you exist. If I had robots, I'd eliminate you all because you're useless. You're worthless. You're not rich. You're not powerful. You don't mean anything. Go take a bus, kill your dog, and eat beans. That is reprehensible. And maybe, Mr. Bloomberg, when you look at what you said and the heat you're taking from it, justifiable heat, by the way, you'll now realize why you lasted about a week and a half when you ran for president, because you showed everybody what an elitist phony you are.
No argument from me. At least he didn't recommend mung beans. Mung beans are tough.
Well, lentils, actually, I hate to say it, but I actually like lentils. The Lebanese dish majada is made with lentils, and I love it. I love lentils. They're very high in protein, and they're very good for you. They got a lot of fiber, very good. But I don't want a steady diet of lentils. I love lentils, but I don't want to eat lentils every day because I can't afford to have a steak once in a while and maybe a lobster. But they don't care. Just like Mike Rodriguez doesn't care. You just look down the line. He doesn't care. Billionaires don't care. All the rich people in Washington don't care. All the rich people in Boston don't care. All the rich people in Fall River don't care. It's a common theme. There is a class war. That thing that I read from the 1850s about them not giving a damn about regular people, 200 years later, they still don't give a damn. But they cover it up a little bit more by trying to con you like we're doing you a favor. Well, Mike Rodriguez didn't do you any favors. As a matter of fact, he screwed you.
Yep. Where's our video? Screw you, taxpayer.
That's right.
This is what we needed.
Yeah, just what we needed. Screw you, double, triple screw you, taxpayer. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah. And here we go.
Screw you, taxpayer.
There it is.
There it is. Screw you, taxpayer. There we go.
We got it. Great.
And we hit the jackpot on that one.
Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Steve. Thank you. Right there.
Yeah.
So now we move on from the state screwing to the local screwing, right?
It's like a light bulb.
That's right. Yeah. Just screw it in. And the only thing is, we are not the screw-oars. We're the screwees.
And we're not even getting any enjoyment out of it.
That's right. That's right.
Although it's kind of hard here when we're laughing so much.
You got to laugh to keep from crying. That's
exactly.
The problem. So, but our illustrious mayor was again handing out envelopes. It was like, okay, so CJ, why don't you tell us about that?
Well, that was his grant program for small businesses.
His grant program.
His grant program. That was generated from ARPA funds, again with the ARPA funds.
ARPA, which may be misused.
Right, which, by the way, he made sure that the press release said that it was from ARPA funds. He made sure to say in the press release several times that it was a program created by the ARPA funds. He also made sure to state that Ken Fiola administered the ARPA funds for this program, and Ken Fiola made it clear that he was on the ARPA board, but he recused himself from the vote. And this is $2,500 for 5 employees or less, $5,000 for 6 to 10 employees. Mm-hmm. And nonprofits can apply as well.
Just one quick question, CJ, because you were so thorough about figuring out how this program came. It's not city money.
No.
It's federal money.
Yes.
The whole plan was created by Ken the Magnificent Fiola, yet it's his program. It's the mayor's program.
Right.
Again, taking credit for something you did absolutely nothing
to do it.
You had nothing to do with it, basically.
But he's handing out the envelopes.
But the optics.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? Pure
Exactly.
optics. Look, I'm giving you the envelope. I'm giving you the envelope. This is I did this for you. I did this for you. There is a pure politician. Got nothing to do with it. Just like fire apparatus for all these years. Look at the fire apparatus I brought to Fall River. By the way, with no Fall River money.
Right.
So how did I have anything to do with it? I didn't write the grant. It's federal money, but I don't care. But that's what he does. So continue on his great.
Yeah, so there was only one nonprofit who applied, and that was Forever Pause. And I guess they applied and got $5,000.
Good.
I didn't think they had employees. I thought everyone that was there was volunteers.
I think they do have a couple of employees, but
But they have
look,
10?
I don't care. Give them $10,000. Let them
5,000, yeah, whatever.
Let them help the animals.
Let them help the animals, exactly.
That's it.
But, they made you jump through every hoop to get this money. They wanted your taxes, your income level, your bills. They wanted everything. The number of employees, the taxes paid on the employees. And this money can be used for rent, past bills, utilities. And it's a pittance. It's $2,500.
Yeah.
It's a pittance.
Yeah, but it's worth far more in political capital. That's the key. That's why they do things like this. They give you this, and some of it's counterproductive. Like we throw everybody a stimulus check and let's devalue the dollar. We're going to give them this money, and it's not going to be worth anything because we're going to destroy the economy and stuff like this. But that's the Democratic tactic: throw money at everything, except when it's going to take money away from them. If they can print the money and give it to you, they'll give it to you. But if you're going to interfere with their revenue stream, like the gas tax, nobody gets their fingers in that, baby.
That's right.
We're going to keep our revenue stream flying in. But that's the key. With politicians, it's always optics. It's like, okay, let me hand out the envelopes. Let me get to the front of let me be in the center of the picture. Let me hold the shovel that they're breaking ground like I did this work to get this business off the ground. You didn't. The people who have the business and do the work. And, that brings us to another thing of how they divert your attention with all these kind of feel-good things. Let's have a car parade. Let's have movies. Like I said, it's like being in grade school. We're dealing with adolescents, not adults. Let's look at the skateboard parks. Let's see. So far, I haven't seen anything that the average taxpayer in Fall River can say, well, that's going to help me a little bit. I'm going to cut some jobs. No. I'm gonna deal with the potholes. No, and most expressly. You ready for this one? Drum roll, please. We're number one. We're number one. And what are we number one in, CJ?
We are the most violent, most dangerous community in Massachusetts.
Again. And do we ever see anything about that? No. The mayor's walking around a skateboard park while we're in the most dangerous city in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
He's the mayor of Hoodlumville.
Talk about lack of perspective on what's going on in the community. He's still in the school department. I hate to say it, but he's still like he's the vice principal of Durfee. He's doing kiddie things, adolescent things. Skateboard parks, movies, car parades, handing out a few envelopes. What's really important in Fall River? The fact that we're leading the state in violent crime. You think that there would be a concentrated effort by his administration to deal with the real issues? The issues that the people can't afford Diamond, can't afford overrides on Durfee? The budget's in total chaos. He's using, by his own admission, opera money to create structural deficits in a budget. I mean, his legacy will be, he was like the purple bags with a straw that broke the camel's back for the recall of Flanagan. not the only reason, but the straw that broke. So he will be the straw that broke the financial back of Fall River, and within within the next decade, we will be in receivership.
Well, and don't forget what he did in the school committee.
Oh, well, please. That's another classic example.
This is how we save the taxpayer money. We bill them $2.2 million for transportation for the school department. And we're going to do it early because that's going to give some taxpayer relief. The taxpayers will know where the money's going to be. And Kevin Aguiar, when that was proposed, the mayor got a motion to accept it and a second. And Kevin Aguiar stepped in. Congratulations to Kevin Aguiar. He says, why are you doing this now? Why are you doing this now? Shouldn't we be doing this during the budget time? Shouldn't it be time to discuss this issue during the budget? Shouldn't it be time now? He goes, you want to send this to the city council now, and they're going to pay it. Well, we can send a bill to the city council for $12 million, and they're going to have to pay it. They don't get a say. It's time for us to make sure we look out for that. He led it, and the mayor was like dumbfounded. He was truly dumbfounded, and all of a sudden he says, "Well, I'll rescind my request. Can I get a motion to withdraw?
Leave to withdraw, yeah.
Can I get a motion to withdraw? Can I get a second? Roll call vote. Okay, thank you. It's done. Meeting's adjourned."
Yeah, let's get out of here before everybody figures out. I told the taxpayers I was going to save them money by billing them $2 million. There's another of that convoluted logic like Mike Rodriguez does. I'm going to save you money by not reducing the price of gas that I have the power to do. And I'm going to save you money, people. Now the mayor says, let's send, you know what he was doing? Send in the $2 million now. You don't have to talk about that during the budget because it's already been approved.
That's right.
So you just scammed $2 million off the top from the taxpayers' wallets.
That's right.
So, let's face it. And there again, it shows. Just like when he came down and tried to talk about health care and he doesn't have a clue about how the trust fund is structured or anything. He just had a few numbers and he had no idea where those numbers came from or what the statute said about having enough money in a trust fund to pay incurred but not reported. Again, he starts talking about it, and when somebody who apparently understands the budgetary process for the school department, i.e. Kevin Aguiar, and congratulations to him for calling him out, and shame on the rest of the talking heads on the school committee who made the motion and seconded it to get it on the floor because they were accessories before and during the fact of trying to screw the taxpayers another $2 million. But Kevin Aguiar standing up and asking him and making a valid observation that, look, why do this now? Why don't you do? Well, we know why. Anybody that understands the process, like if you get it, if you get $2 million out of the council in March, we're not going to talk about that $2 million during the budget. It's already there.
Exactly.
See you later. Done. Gone. And
we'll be taking it out of this year's budget instead of next year's budget.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And that $2 million additional cost will be in next year's budget and be an assumed responsibility.
Exactly.
And nobody's going to talk about it. Well, that's what we pay for transportation. Nobody cares. What do you think? Everybody's stupid? They're not. We're not. We understand the stuff. You're going to stick it in there, take it out of this year's budget, make it up. Now it's in the budget. Now when you go to the budget, they go, well, that's what we paid last year. Well, you're not going to tell everybody that you figured that until March, which is almost a new fiscal year. We don't have that little to go. But I'll tell you what, 3-Card Willie and the Fast Shuffle, these guys are the biggest scam artists in the world. And then they turn around, and now when the election time comes, they tell each other how great they are. It's kind of like Ukraine. Now Zelensky is Winston Churchill, even though there were 30 or 40 articles on how corrupt he was just a few years ago. And we know that Ukraine is not a democracy. He outlawed every political party that opposes him except the Nazi party. And there is a Nazi party in Ukraine. and they actually wear swastikas, and there's actually a contingent in their military. So everybody knows that Ukraine was considered one of the most corrupt countries in the world, but now the narrative, see, the public and twist you, the narrative, the mainstream media, they all jump on it, and now this is their latest diversion. They, you know, the war hawks who never fight in a war want to make money off a war, and they're going to figure out a way to either make it from sending arms to them or maybe engaging us into a war where none of their sons and daughters will fight. Because as I always say, and it's a truism, rich old men start wars, and in this case, rich old men and women, because Liz Cheney, well, last time we checked, was a female. Although we don't have the definition of a woman anymore. The new Supreme Court nominee said she wasn't a biologist, so she couldn't determine what the definition of a woman was, just in case I can tell her. And she went to Harvard. You know, it's 2 X chromosomes. That's it. You know, biologically, you don't have to be a biologist. And as some woman said, which I thought was the greatest comeback in the world, and she was watching a swim meet where a transgender was swimming, and it wasn't and she said, "That's a man, that's unfair." And some wokey looked at her and said, "I want to ask you a question." So she said, "Go ahead, ask me a question." She said, "Are you a biologist?" Now you have to be a biologist to know that. And her answer was priceless. She looked at him and she said, "Well, I'm not a vet, but I know what a dog is." Classic. That was beautiful. I loved it. I loved it. And that's the whole problem. You don't even have the right to make it a absolute true observation. It's a shame when the culture has evolved to the point where a Supreme Court nominee there's so much wokeism that they will not say simply that, look, I don't care how people identify. That may be a personal decision and a psychological decision, but it's not a biological choice. If you take and check, you will find that anybody who was born a female will have 2 X chromosomes, and someone who has a male has a Y chromosome.
That's right.
So it's not that difficult, and it's not subject to debate. And if you press them on that, they start babbling about, you know, you're taking away somebody's rights. I'm not taking away anybody's rights. If you want to dress up like a woman or a man, and you're in the opposite sex, and you want to identify as that, be my guest. But don't try to con the people, especially in athletics, which is destroying female athletics. So it's ridiculous. But then again, this is politics and propaganda. So, Mike, your propaganda on you saving us money by not letting us save money doesn't work. And Paul, your propaganda that spending $2 million will save the taxpayers money is not working either.
Well, you know, the interesting thing about Mike's statement is he's like, he doesn't know how the taxpayer will benefit. Gas taxes also affect food delivery, you know, commodity delivery, milk, eggs, cheese, butters, groceries, fabric.
The entire supply chain.
The entire supply chain. And if the gas price is lower, then the cost will be hopefully a little lower on those products. But obviously, Mike doesn't know how that works.
No, he doesn't see. All he sees is they're losing revenue.
Right.
That's all he sees.
And he said it. He said the gas tax revenue stabilizes our bond rating. We'll jeopardize our bond rating if we get rid of it. And it's not like they were saying we're going to get rid of the gas tax altogether. They said from now until Labor Day.
CJ, as you said, if the gas tax will destroy our bond rating, this state's in big trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes no sense. And again, remember this when it comes to election time, because Mike Roderick said, give you the prota. Well, we've come to the end of our program. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember, stay safe, stay angry, and definitely hold your politician accountable, because they're going to give it to you big time. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.